What if events went differently? What if Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi were in Origins in Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Zombies? Welcome back. My name is Max Charlebois, aka MissedThePart, and welcome back, my fellow watchers, to another Star Wars Week episode. And today the stakes are high for Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi as they are going to be entering Origins, the Excavation Site, everything in between, meeting Tank Dempsey, Takio, Nikolai, and even Richtofen. Now, this story just came out of the blue. This literally was in my head, and I was like, imagine after the events of Count Dooku's death on the Invisible Hand, imagine if a rift happened. And this rift ended up, instead of crash landing the Invisible Hand on Coruscant, if it had crash landed on a different planet, a different reality, a reality where there was tons of zombies. Now, again, this episode is dedicated towards Star Wars Week, and my fellow watchers, I am so thankful that you guys are enjoying Star Wars Week. We do monthly themes at the beginning and at the end of the month, and with this month in particular, we have Star Wars Week. This was highly requested, and we have brand new merch available on the Fourth Wall website. Grand Theft Kenobi merch is available for 1 week only, so from the high ground to the hood, grab it before it's gone. But that being said, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, let's dive into the brand new episode. Time is not a river. It is a battlefield. The Republic cruiser buckled beneath them, alarms blaring. Fire danced across the corridor walls as the warship's nose split open in the Coruscant's upper atmosphere. Obi-Wan Kenobi gritted his teeth as the cockpits spiraled toward the planet below. Glass shattered, panels exploded, gravity twisted. Anakin Skywalker locked the controls with the Force, hands glowing faintly as they descended through fire. "I've got this," he shouted over the sirens. "We're coming in too fast," Obi-Wan began. Then, the world inverted. There was no crash, no impact, just a rippling pressure, as though the fabric of space turned inside out. For one terrible second, Anakin felt himself pulled backward and forward at once, through light, darkness, memory, through time. The ship exploded through a storm cloud, but it wasn't Coruscant below them. It was mud and wire and trenches filled with corpses. The cruiser crashed into a burning wasteland, skipping across the blood-soaked earth, shearing down a steel tower marked with a symbol neither Jedi recognized, a three-headed eagle and skull, scorched into stone. The nose buried itself in a trench. Smoke rose. Bodies burned. Anakin gasped for air as the hatch snapped open. Obi-Wan climbed out, limping, coughing. Where? In the name of the Force. Are we? They stood amidst a nightmare war zone. The sky was black with ash. Giant mechanical claws clawed the horizon. Massive robots stomping across the land like steel titans. Lightning split the sky in unnatural patterns. Trenches stretched endlessly, full of rusted guns and blood-caked helmets. The air stank of ozone and rotting flesh. And then they moved. Figures, once human, now torn by decay and glowing blue mist. German soldiers, their eyes burned with element 115. Their skin peeled in places, armor cracked and fused into their flesh. Zombies. Dozens of them. Anakin ignited his saber. Blue light bathed the trench in holy glow. The undead screamed. He charged, limbs flew, heads rolled, but they kept coming. Obi-Wan followed, blades slashing high, shielding his flank. "There's no end to them," Obi-Wan shouted. "Then we keep cutting until we find one," Anakin roared. They were nearly overwhelmed when a new voice cut through the air. "Yah, eat lead, Hellspawn." Machine gun fire erupted down the trench. Bullets tore through the horde. Explosions rocked the walls. A figure charged through the smoke, tattered uniform, manic eyes and a massive shotgun glowing faint red. Tank Dempsey. Behind him, Takeo, Nikolai, and Richtofen, all wielding pack-a-punched weapons, bodies glowing with perk energy. They fought like gods. Richtofen smiled wildly as he caught sight of the Jedi. Well, visitors from the stars, or is it a hallucination again? The horde fell in minutes, reduced to twitching limbs, and 115 vapor. Silence returned. Anakin stood, chest heaving, blade crackling with energy. Obi-Wan deactivated his saber. "You. Who are you?" Richtofen gave a mocking bow. "Dr. Edward Richtofen, at your service. Welcome to the end of the world." Inside a makeshift command bunker, lit by flickering consoles and glyph-covered maps, Richtofen explained everything. The dimension, the corruption, the undead. Element 115, drawn from deep below the surface by experiments gone wrong. The great evil beneath the earth. Something ancient and hungry that had twisted this version of 1918 into a cosmic bloodbath. Takeo stood watch at the entrance. Dempsey cleaned his weapon. Nikolai snored against a crate. Richtofen paced. "Your little explosion in hyperspace. It must have intersected with a rift, and now you're here, stuck. Unless, of course, we open another." "Open," Anakin asked. "You can tear reality." "With enough power," Richtofen grinned, tapping a glowing crystal marked with Sith runes. "And with your curious abilities, perhaps we can do it faster." Obi-Wan studied him carefully. "You've tampered with forces you don't understand." "That's the fun part." But the mood shifted when Richtofen mentioned one last detail. "You're not the only ones who came through." Obi-Wan froze. "Who else?" Richtofen's smile faded. "A man with dark robes, pale skin, golden eyes. He appeared days ago. The undead didn't touch him. They followed him." "Palpatine," Anakin whispered. Richtofen nodded grimly. "He was taken by them into the earth, into the place we do not go. Not anymore." He pointed to the far end of the map, an area blacked out, surrounded by runes, the Excavation Site. "That's where the evil breathes," Richtofen said. "That's where your emperor is." That night, Anakin couldn't sleep. He stood outside the bunker, saber hilt in his palm. The force felt wrong, distorted, but alive. A small blackened shrine stood. Nearby, an ancient pedestal lined with 115 crystals. He touched it. Visions erupted behind his eyes, a saber, twisted and beautiful, burning both red and blue. Images of a future not yet written. A mask of iron, a scream in fire, a throne. Then, peace. He opened his eyes. A crystal floated before him, element 115 humming with strange energy. He took it. His saber clicked open, absorbed it. The blade hissed. Half blue, half red. Obi-Wan stepped beside him. "You feel it too," Obi-Wan said. Anakin nodded slowly. "It's like the Force, but wounded." Obi-Wan looked at the excavation site far off in the dark. And he's in there, waiting. The next morning, they prepared to descend into hell. Anakin strapped his saber to his belt, now glowing with unstable light, humming with a dual hum. Richtofen tossed them small vials. "Perca-Colas, you'll want those. That one enhances reaction time. That one, well, it makes your mind quieter. You Jedi types could use it." Anakin took one. "Tastes like motor oil. Works like a dream." Takeo handed Anakin an upgrade schematic. "If your blade is a weapon of light, It may yet become something more. He unfolded the blueprint, Pack-a-Punch, saber of duality. They stepped into the trenches. Behind them, the sky cracked with thunder. Ahead, the excavation site waited, and beneath it, Palpatine. But not as they remembered him. The excavation site loomed ahead like a corpse mid-autopsy. Steel girders cutting into the earth, massive drills frozen in place. It was half destroyed, buried in darkness. The land bled element 115 vapor in thick pulses, glowing through cracks in the dirt. Anakin gripped his lightsaber as the Jedi descended into the pit. Richtofen led the way, muttering to himself in 3 languages, shotgun in hand. Takeo and Dempsey cleared the flanks. Nikolai drank. But the deeper they went, the stranger the air became. It wasn't just foul, it was alive. Obi-Wan whispered, "The Force here. It's screaming." And then the screaming became real. The undead poured out of the tunnels. 115 fused monsters in what was once clone armor, twisted beyond recognition. Some had metal limbs, others exposed brains. All of them surged toward the group with one purpose: protect the throne below. The battle was chaos. Anakin's saber carved arcs of light, one side burning red hot, the other freezing undead tissue on contact. The saber of duality hummed with unstable power. With every kill, it pulsed deeper in color. With every kill, Anakin felt stronger. Obi-Wan fought with precision, using the Force to crush skulls, redirect grenades mid-air, and slice in swift, non-lethal arcs, still trying to stay Jedi in a world where mercy was a mistake. Behind them, Richtofen detonated a monkey bomb, laughing like a lunatic as zombies exploded in a jazz-blasted fireball. They pushed deeper. At the lowest level of the dig site was a circular stone chamber, wrapped in apothecon runes, glowing with a sickly green flame. In the center, a blackened throne of jagged rock and 115 crystals. And in that throne, Palpatine. But he wasn't Palpatine, not fully. His flesh had decayed in places, charred around the mouth, jaw split open unnaturally wide. His eyes were molten gold, cracked like broken glass, leaking smoke. His left hand was a bone talon, fused with element 115, and embedded in his chest were 2 crimson kyber crystals, pulsing. Floating beside him were 2 sabers, both pack-a-punched and alive with corruption. Death's promise, a blade that left wounds burning even in death. Sorrow's wail, a saber that screamed with every swing, sending shockwaves of pure dark energy. Anakin froze. Obi-Wan whispered, "No. What is this?" Palpatine rose from the throne, slow, deliberate. He smiled. "I am what you never saw. What you were never meant to know." Lightning exploded across the chamber. But it wasn't Force lightning anymore. It shimmered with the glitching static of the ether. Reality staggered around it. "You thought I was just a Sith, a man, a shadow in politics. But this is what I truly was, a vessel, a key, the one the ether waits for." Anakin stepped forward, saber humming louder. "You were my friend," Palpatine tilted his head. "I was your master." "No," Anakin growled. "You were a parasite." He charged. The duel was a nightmare ballet. Palpatine moved with inhuman speed, teleporting in glitching bursts, crossing entire floors in blinks. His 2 pack-a-punch sabers spun in orbit around him like vultures, striking from impossible angles. Anakin countered with the saber of duality, one blade defending, the other striking back with chaos. The blade absorbed energy. It drank the dark side and pulsed with unstable rhythm. Obi-Wan leapt into the fray, fighting in sync with Anakin, For the first time since the Clone Wars, the two Jedi wove together like twin flames, offense and defense, fury and restraint. Still, Palpatine bled power. He screamed incantations in Apothicon, raised the dead mid-fight, slashed across time with a saber that shattered the earth. Richthofen and the Origins crew held the hordes back, but barely. "We need more," Dempsey shouted. "That freak ain't dying." Richthofen pulled something from his coat, a device scrawled with runes, powered by 4 glowing vials. "I've been saving this," he grinned. "Ether catalyst." He tossed it to Anakin. Anakin caught it and felt it pulse in his mind. The saber of duality cracked, then reforged itself. It changed. Pack-a-punch. 5-2. The balance blade, a lightsaber now white at its core, glowing with red and blue edges. It pulses with force clarity, rejecting the dark but understanding it. It was no longer split. It was whole. Anakin pressed forward. Obi-Wan covered him with the Force, creating a barrier around the two as Palpatine let loose a scream that fractured nearby stone. "You think the light can win here?" Palpatine shrieked. "The ether will consume you!" Anakin roared back. "Then I'll burn with it." Final clash. The balance blade clashed with Death's promise and shattered it. A second strike. Sorrow's wail broke and disintegrated in midair. Palpatine screamed, not in pain, but in terror. And then Anakin drove the blade through his chest. The undead convulsed. The sky cracked open. Reality stuttered as the throne room collapsed. Obi-Wan caught Anakin as the explosion of 115 vapor threw them both backward. But Palpatine laughed as he burned. "You can kill me in this life, but the ether knows me, and it remembers." Outside, the scythe flickered with shifting colors, portals opening across the battlefield. Time and space were collapsing. Richthofen turned to the group. "We have to go. The ether rift is unstable." Takeo opened a portal using his staff. "We move now or we are forgotten." Obi-Wan grabbed Anakin's arm. "Let's go." But Anakin looked back. Where Palpatine's corpse should have been, there was only a cracked kyber crystal, pulsing red and black. He hesitated. "I have to know what he was," Anakin said. "Then you'll lose what you are," Obi-Wan shouted. But Anakin ran, into the smoke, into the light. Obi-Wan vanished through the portal with the Origins crew. The rift closed, and Anakin was gone. The portal spit them into a corrupted version of the Jedi Temple. Twisted stone columns, red glass mosaics, statues of Jedi Masters bent into grotesque forms. Obi-Wan landed hard, lightsaber sparking. Richthofen, Dempsey, Takeo, and Nikolai tumbled after, weapons drawn. The sky was wrong, red, broken, flickering. Every few seconds, flashes of other timelines blinked through. Vader on Mustafar, Luke on Dagobah, Richthofen with black eyes, Nikolai holding a broken vodka bottle and sobbing in snow. The Force wasn't dead, it was split. Obi-Wan felt it, torn in every direction. He looked around, breath caught in his chest. "Where's Anakin?" No one answered. They explored the broken temple, battling scattered elite zombies wearing Jedi armor. Lightsabers grown into their hands, faces frozen in eternal screams. Inside the shattered archives, Obi-Wan found a chamber humming with 115 energy. At its center was a staff of the Ancients, twisted into something new. Where the others glowed blue or yellow, this one pulsed with white light, etched with Jedi script and Apothicon glyphs fused together. Richthofen stepped back, eyes wide. "That's not supposed to exist." Obi-Wan reached for it. The moment his fingers closed, he was thrown into vision. Anakin screaming, Palpatine splitting apart, the galaxy crumbling, but through it all, something else. Anakin, still fighting, still alive. When he woke, the staff had changed. New weapon, unlocked the Staff of Remembrance, a force-imbued relic that combines telekinetic projection, saber channeling energy, and short-range time warping. It's not a weapon, it's a memory anchor. Obi-Wan turned to the others. He's still here, trapped in the ether. Takeo bowed slightly. Then we go into hell to bring him back. They journeyed through the temple's central rift, an obsidian tunnel of shrieking light and glitched sound. On the other side was a mirror world, a battlefield where every moment of war was happening at once. Clone troopers fought zombies, Apothicon creatures dueled Sith, giant Origins mechs crushed Jedi starfighters. The sky bled, and at the center, chained in an inverted pyramid, floating in midair, was Anakin. He was half corrupted, floating in stasis. The balance blade hovered above his chest, glowing violently. Beneath him, Palpatine reformed, not a man anymore, a beast of twisted robes, bone and machine, a thing born of ether, memory, and hatred. You should have let me die, Skywalker, but you brought me here, and now I am the ether. He had no face anymore, just a stretched veil of force lightning and bone. Final battle. The Origins crew held the line against hundreds, an army of Apothicon enchanted zombies, some fused with clone parts, some bearing lightsabers, all moving like one hive. Obi-Wan faced Palpatine alone, wielding the Staff of Remembrance and his saber, moving with inhuman calm. "You're not the Force," Obi-Wan said. "You're the rod it left behind." Palpatine screamed and descended in a vortex of darkness. Obi-Wan fought like no Jedi had before, dodging lightning that tore open time, parrying saber strikes from multiple angles, shielding himself with visions of what was. He used the staff to lock Palpatine in a loop, freezing the dark energy long enough to slice into his corrupted core. But it wasn't enough. Palpatine hurled him into the void. Obi-Wan fell, and Anakin opened his eyes. The balance blade shot downward into Anakin's hand. He screamed, and the chains shattered. He dropped into battle, fully restored, armor cracked, eyes glowing white with the Force. Not Vader, not Skywalker. Something new. He and Obi-Wan fought together, back to back, one last time. Twin sabers clashed with void light. Anakin used the Force to pull Palpatine mid-attack. Obi-Wan drove the staff through his chest. Palpatine began to collapse. The ether rippled. "He'll return," Palpatine whispered. "Then so will we," Anakin said. And he split Palpatine in half, pure white light flooding the battlefield. The undead army disintegrated and the battlefield flickered and cracked. The ether was collapsing. Richthofen opened a final rift, screaming for the team to move. "Go! Time is unstable." Nikolai and Dempsey vanished. Takeo bowed one last time and walked into the light. Obi-Wan turned to Anakin. "We need to go," but Anakin shook his head. "I can hold it. If I don't, this place infects the future. Anakin, you always believed in me. Let me give you back the galaxy you believed in." Obi-Wan stepped back, tears in his eyes. He saluted. Anakin smiled. "Tell Luke. Tell him I made the choice." The portal closed. Obi-Wan emerged in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, but it was whole, clean, alive. History rewrote itself. The Clone Wars ended not with an empire, but a peace treaty. Palpatine was never found. The Republic did not fall. The Jedi did not burn, but deep in the temple archives there's a locked chamber, and inside it on a pedestal is a white lightsaber, etched with the words, "The Balance remembers." Some nights Obi-Wan walks there and he listens, and far away in the ether something still burns. Not evil, not broken, just light. And that is going to be it for what if Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi landed in Origins? Now, what did you think of this particular crossover video, and would you like to see more? As we continue Star Wars Week, we're doing crossovers, we're doing crazy fan fictions, and it's just getting started. And I would highly recommend to grab your Grand Theft Kenobi merch. It's available right now from the high ground to the hood. So again, the support goes a long way, my fellow watchers. It goes towards anything with the channel, like we can do more videos like this one, and it's highly recommended. So if you guys want to support the channel, it's available for 1 week on the Fourth Wall website. And again, I want to give a massive shout out to our Patreon and YouTube community supporters who support this channel, and they continue to, you know, thrive and really help us. And I can't thank you guys enough. Seriously, like, just recording this, I've been lost for words because the support has been absolutely phenomenal, and I really don't know what else to say other than thank you. So whether you guys are just commenting, you know, your ideas and requests in the comments down below, any sort of support on this YouTube channel just really means a lot to me, and seeing that you guys are really invested and interested in the events that we're doing here on the MissedThePart channel, it's really amazing. But that being said, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn those notifications on so you and your friends are all up to date with the latest content. But that being said, I will see you in the next episode. Take care and have a phenomenal day. Peace out.